Hello everyone, welcome to the England Hockey League Preview Podcast, where we've reached edition 15. I'm Andy Day, your host. The Premier Division is back in full, and we had some cracking fixtures last week, and there are plenty more to follow this weekend. I'm recording this week's preview during a short break from the Not Sport Schools Finals at Lee Valley, and while I'm working with some familiar faces in the hockey world, I'll see who I can get some insights from for the interview. Time to get underway with the fixtures, starting with the Women's Premier Division Top 6. At 2 o'clock, it's Loughborough Students Surbiton, 3 o'clock Wimbledon, Hampstead and Westminster, and 6 p.m. for East Grinstead Reading. Hampstead and Westminster start the weekend 4 points clear of Reading at the top of the table. They play away at Wimbledon, and Hampstead and Westminster are still the form team in the competition with 7 wins on the bounce. This season's earlier meeting ended with a point shared in a 1-1 draw at Hampstead and Westminster, which was the only draw of the season for the league leaders. Lucy Hyams and Lydia McDonnell were the goal scorers in October. For Wimbledon, they've conceded 4 goals at home in their 2 games in 2025 and are playing their 3rd successive game at home. Wimbledon had been on a great run of 4 wins in a row, but are seeking their debut win in 2025. Getting underway at 2 p.m. is Loughborough Students versus Surbiton. Surbiton are picking up a healthy bit of momentum, winning 6 and drawing 2 of their last 8 games. Those 2 draws were both against Reading, and Surbiton's 3 clean sheets this season have all been away from home. Loughborough are seeking their first points in the second phase of the season, and recently Surbiton have had the edge over Loughborough Students. What's in store this weekend? East Grinstead versus Reading. Reading are back to winning ways following last week's 3-2 win over Loughborough and their first win since their home win over East Grinstead in November. A bit of a pattern is appearing in the data, and I thank Colin Pike who's pointed this out. Anna Crowley's 2 goals this season for Reading have both been penalty corners, scored in the 69th minute and secured 3-2 victories. East Grinstead have only won 1 of their last 4 games, but it's surely not time to panic just yet. Here are the lower 6 fixtures. Midday for Sutton Coldfield Bowden, 12:15 Clifton Robinson's University of Nottingham, and 2:30 for University of Birmingham Holcombe. Opening the weekend's fixtures is the midday start at Sutton Coldfield, while Bowden are the visitors. Sutton Coldfield start the day 10 points behind 5th place Holcombe, and opportunities for securing the necessary points for staying up are starting to run out. 6 defeats in a row now. Bowden are coming off the back of a comprehensive 5-1 win over Holcombe last weekend, which has put them top of the lower 6. This is a repeat of an October fixture, where Bowden beat Sutton Coldfield by a goal apiece from Tor Hughes and Maddie Scullion. It's a bit of a turnaround for Bowden, who have now won 2 in a row after 5 successive defeats, and it's an opportunity for a league double over the Mighty Pinks. Starting 15 minutes later is Clifton Robinsons versus University of Nottingham. The earlier season meeting finished all square at 2-2, one of 4 Clifton Robinsons draws and one of 5 University of Nottingham draws. Last time out, University of Nottingham secured their first win since October in their 2-0 victory over Sutton Coldfield, and Clifton Robinsons drew last weekend against University of Birmingham. It feels almost destined for a draw, but it's never a guarantee. Finally, University of Birmingham and Holcombe start at 2:30. Just the 1 goal separated these sides back in 2024, Lily Soki of University of Birmingham the goal scorer. University of Birmingham are seeking their first win in 8. Holcombe have won in 2025, but as mentioned, had a tough time at Bowden last weekend. Holcombe are the 2nd lowest scorers in the Women's Premier, and due to player movement, only Lisa Randall on 2 is the only current player to have scored more than once this season. It feels like this one shouldn't be awash with goals. Buba Mills, who scored this week at Lee Valley, is top goal scorer for the Women's Premier, with the East Grinstead player notching 11 times. Surbiton's Darcy Bourne sits in joint 2nd place with 9, alongside Lucy Hyams of Hampstead and Westminster. Miriam Pritchard is topping the clean sheet list with 5 for the season. Now, here are the men's top 6 fixtures. It's a 4:30 start for Oxted Wimbledon, 6 o'clock for Hampstead and Westminster Old Georgians, and also 6 o'clock for Surbiton Holcombe. Oxted Wimbledon is the early game in the top 6. Earlier in the season it finished 3-3, and continuing with the 3 theme, Oxted have lost 3 of their last 4 games. Conversely, Wimbledon have won 3 of their last 4 and came within a goal of taking a point off OGs. These 2 teams start the day in 5th place, that's Hampstead and Westminster, and Oxted are in 6th, but are now separated by 5 points. Hampstead and Westminster versus Old Georgians. Hampstead are on a relative downturn after only 2 points in their last 5, including 3 defeats, one of which was a 5-0 home defeat by Old Georgians. Old Georgians go into the game on their phenomenal 12-game winning streak. Hampstead have scored 3 in their last 2 games, but haven't won a point. A 3-6 loss at Surbiton and 3-4 at Wimbledon. Surbiton versus Holcombe looks like the game of the day. Holcombe were on an awesome run of 6 wins until being cut down by Old Georgians last weekend. Surbiton are building again and are on a run of 2 wins in a row. Both teams will be keen to put on a performance. There's only a point between them in 2nd and 3rd. Surbiton on 29 in 2nd and Holcombe in 3rd on 28. Looks tasty. Here are the men's Premier Division lower 6. 4 p.m. start for East Grinstead, Cardiff and Met, 6:15 for Richmond Southgate, and 6:30 for Bowden Beeston. East Grinstead and Cardiff have already met this season and played out a rare 0-0 draw in South Wales. It's the only one this season. Cardiff and Met have won 2 of their last 3, both of them against Bowden. Cardiff and Met start Saturday top of the table and can only be leapfrogged by a Beeston win and a Cardiff loss. Richmond versus Southgate, another draw in the previous meeting. This one was 1-1 in November. Richmond are on a 3-game losing streak and Southgate have drawn 3 games this season, 1-1, 2-2 and 3-3. Important points at stake for either side in this one. Bowden versus Beeston. Beeston survived a tricky test against a battling Richmond last weekend, and they head to Bowden after securing their first win in 8. Henry Croft's 2 goals in that win meant he moves to 11 this season and has still only failed to score in 1 match this season. Bowden had the chance to do a league double over Beeston following their win in Nottingham in November. Ollie Rogerson and Jack McAuliffe's goals in a 2-1 win responsible for 100% of Bowden's Premier points so far this season. Sam Ward's 22 league goals for Old Georgians still sees him top of the scoring charts, but Struan Walker of Surbiton is now on 18 in 2nd place. Wimbledon's Ore Ogunlana is still leading the chase for the Golden Glove with 3 clean sheets this season. Tickets are on sale for the finals weekend at the Nottingham Hockey Centre on the 3rd and 4th of May. Make sure you head to the England Hockey website to get yours now.
We're here at Lee Valley Hockey and Tennis Centre where hockey history happens. Rob Jenkins is with me, a familiar face at hockey venues up and down the country for many years. How are you doing today?
Very good, thank you. What I want to talk about really is also the preparation we do prior to the game. So we get our appointments often 2 or 3 weeks in advance, but at this present, the important part of the season, we're getting our appointments weekly. So we know that it was probably going to be a crucial game. So our preparation for the match day, in fact, starts probably on a Monday or a Tuesday when we get the email through confirming the appointment, and then the teams confirm the game to us. So from there, I'm looking at the teams I've got, the likely way they're going to play, how they're going to set up, who my colleague is, match official, so that I'm well prepared prior to the game, mentally more than physically. So what I do physically before the week is make sure that I'm fit, no niggles, no injuries that I've got to report, so that when I turn up to the match, I'm as fit as I can be to do the game. On the match day itself, there's several things I do. First of all, check traffic conditions. As we well know, wherever I go from Southampton, I go up the M3 or the A3 normally to go to a game. And at the moment, as soon as I hit the M25, I've got an issue. So if I'm say for Wimbledon, I know damn well I'm going to have to allow at least an extra half an hour. Now, I always arrive at least an hour and a quarter before a game, because to me that's very important for my mental state, so that I don't feel like I'm rushing, I'm stuck in traffic, I'm panicking to get to the game. Because everything that we do when we go on the pitch about our composure, how we prepare ourselves as a team, it's important that we relax and as composed as we can be, so that we can give the best for the teams itself.
I'm interested also to hear more about the mental preparation. Is there anything you do not on the match day? Is there anything you do in the week before the games?
Yeah, it's hard because it's different for each person. I've got a lot of experience, so I know a lot of the players. I know not necessarily how they're going to perform or what they're going to do, but certainly I'm well aware of the team tactics and how they play. To me, that's quite important about how I'm going to set myself up and how I'm going to, when I go on the pitch, what my likely positions are, so that physically and mentally I'm there. Now, before the game, there's several of my colleagues, they'll go off and listen to music. That's the way they prepare. Some of them want to run around a hockey pitch 5 times. That's never going to be me. Some of us watch routines and how the players set up, what they're doing on their short corner routines, if there's anything different that we're aware of to what we look out for. And I'll always go and speak to the coaches and the managers, introduce myself, make sure that they know that I've arrived so they can relax, they don't have to worry about where the umpires are. But also, it's not a disarming thing, but sometimes you've had a game with a team that didn't go quite so well on the previous time, and you just want to make sure that they know that you're there to facilitate a game of hockey. It's not about me, it's about what goes on the pitch, and if I can help a good game of hockey, then great. So a lot of that is down to the teamwork of me and my colleague. Now, most of the people I'm going to be umpiring with, I've umpired with several times. Sometimes it's gone better than others, and sometimes we have a similar outlook really on what we're expecting and how we allow the advantages and flow of the game. Others I know are a bit more whistle happy, let's put it that way, and they like to clamp down in the first 15 minutes, whereas I like to see how the game's flowing before I get involved, and only get involved when I need to. So there are different styles of umpires, which is great, and then there's different styles of players. We're all going to make mistakes, and it's how we deal with those mistakes. But the teamwork, for me, is crucial to getting a good game of hockey. So I'm always having a good pre-match chat with my colleague to make sure that where we look at is what our areas of control are, how we're going to deal with particular incidents, how we're going to let the game flow, really.
Recently, you celebrated quite a milestone. Was it 500 Premier Division games?
600 now.
600?
Yeah. 500 was about 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah, we're on the 607 now. So, yeah, 1 or 2 games, a bit of experience. And some people say one day, if I keep practicing, I'll get a game right.
Talking about experience, you're bringing that to your role at this event. Talk us through why you're here at this event.
Well, I've always been very enthusiastic about development of youngsters. For me, I got my coaching qualification and my assessment qualification quite early, and then I've tried to develop my umpire management skills. So this tournament, I'm here as the umpire manager, and working with Gemma and with Andy Higgins. So Gemma and I have worked together several times. We have a very similar outlook on what we're looking for as a hockey umpire, but also on how we deliver it. So that's quite important that we're giving the same message across to our umpires. And it's lovely here that we've got some of the youngsters coming through who are level 1 and level 2. Now this is a national final, so for us it's important that we make the right appointments so that we give hopefully a bit of youth with experience to do the finals, and develop those umpires so that they're better from when they came into the tournament to when they leave.
It's not just the observation, it's the feedback that's crucial, isn't it?
Absolutely. And we've got to develop our way of delivering. Some of our umpires love to know, did I get the decision right? Did I get it wrong? And they'll happily have it as a black and white. Others want to know whether how their positioning was, how their game management was. And you've got to adapt our style. Well, we've got to adapt our style for each of those umpires, so that we might not have the same delivery or they give you the same message in the same way to each person. So for me, I've developed I've now done numerous umpire management roles in various age groups, and I'm now working with World Masters hockey as well as an umpire manager and still umpiring. And with the different nationalities, you've got to adapt differently. So for me, it's a great challenge, and that's what hockey's all about. I stay in the sport. I played it, I've umpired it, I'm now umpire managing it. And it's a fantastic sport to get involved in at all those stages. Some people might think, well, playing's just for me. it was for a number of years. And then I'm a poacher turned gamekeeper. Certainly one of those players who may have spent a little bit of time on the sideline having advised the umpire that they may have pointed a different way would have been handy. And now I'm one of those people who says, no, you can't do that. Have a sit down yourself. So it's always interesting and fun. And hopefully my way of managing players on the pitch and now giving advice to umpires assists the game that I do.
Just very quickly, what was Jenks the player like?
Jenks the player. Well, thankfully, still the guys I used to play hockey with are my mates, and I still play now golf with them rather than we play hockey together. And as I'm still friends with them, they must have thought I was okay. Umpires probably would have. I still speak to the umpires, amazingly, who had to umpire me. I was usually one to test them. I was a clean player, a strong defender, with no skill at all. Basically, I pass to the midfield or the attack, and they do all the fancy stuff, and I just stop the ball going in my goal. A bit of a nightmare for umpires to. I'm just glad in the day I was playing that green cards were a warning and not a 2-minute sit down. Otherwise, I would probably have been sat down even longer in a game than I do.
This isn't your first rodeo as an umpire manager. Talk us through some of those names that you've seen come through the ranks in years gone by.
Well, what's great about England hockey is that they have the Futures Cup, they've got the Talent Academy, and they've got these schools championships where we can have an opportunity seeing some of our younger umpires and help develop them. And I'm not saying it's all down to me or anything like that. We've got a number of fantastic umpire managers, coaches and assessors who have helped our youngsters through. And when I think of the people that I've worked alongside or worked with, Mia Dewing, Viv Carveth, Tanya Sargent, Sam Church, and a number of other guys who've all now gone through. They've umpired at under 18, under 16, under 21s, and now are looking. Well, Mia's just got onto the Premier panel on the women's, and so's Viv, and Tanya's going to not be far behind. Sam's just doing a Premier game this coming weekend, and this was only 3 or 4 years ago. We were working with them as level 1, level 2 umpires. So the opportunities for umpires, young umpires, to come through with the coaching that they can receive from a number of us is a brilliant opportunity for them, and they've grasped it and they've developed. And it's fantastic when I'm probably going to be umpiring with Sam, and he's going to out umpire me next time I umpire with him, and I'm going, okay, brilliant, thanks for passing me by, Sam. But great stuff. I love it. I love the fact that we can have that opportunity of working with them, that they develop, and they are now shining stars for the future.
Rob Jenkins, thanks so much for your time.
Pleasure.
I hope you've enjoyed this week's preview and the slightly different format of the interview section. For all the latest, England Hockey will keep you updated with the headlines via their website and also via Facebook and Instagram. Do stop by and give us a follow. I've been your host, Andy Day. Join me again next week for your essential quick guide to the upcoming fixtures.